Good evening. I'm Dagan McDowell.
And I'm Sean Duffy. Welcome to The Bottom Line.
Fun fact, you probably didn't know about the job as President of the United States. You can work from home, do the whole job remotely, take calls with foreign leaders from the beach. You don't even have to get approval from your boss, who in this case is you, the American people.
I'm a little confused, John. I know the president took vacation last week in California after the Democratic convention. He's adding another week to that in Rehoboth, Delaware this week. How engaged is he in any of this?
He's very engaged, Neil. I mean, you know as well as I do, the President of the United States, wherever they are, have access to all the communications and all the advisors that they need.
Is the vice president helping him watch this?
Oh, absolutely. The vice president's team, and she has a national security team that's devoted to her as well. They're staying up to speed on all this as well. There's no question about that. Look, I want to say one more point here, as I just talked about phone calls, but you talked about the president's engagement. He's personally engaged, absolutely at the leader level on numerous occasions in just the last couple of weeks. When he feels like it's a time for him to pick up the phone and call, he'll pick up the phone and call.
When he's ready, he'll call, damn it. And if you're not happy with that, just know that you're in Kamala and Joe's thoughts and prayers.
You can have Kamala Harris, who wakes up every day thinking about the American people, trying to create opportunities, reducing people's costs, and actually trying to lift us up for a new way forward. That's the choice that we have.
Yeah, lift us up after crushing us the last 3.5 years. I digress. So basically, they're leaving us high and dry until January. And when Joe Biden said he was passing the torch, he meant passing the buck. Your problems aren't his problem anymore. And if you have a problem with that, you can take it up with, well, who?
Exactly, who? The White House hasn't held an official press briefing in 2 weeks. Vacation for one means vacation for all. But just because you run away from it doesn't make the problem go away. Over 104,000 border encounters in the past month alone.
Home prices are still rising, pricing out Americans who want to buy. 2 wars in the Middle East, and 104 hostages still being held by Hamas.
You know, what bugs me about what John Kirby said is that Joe Biden is personally engaged. He's very engaged. These are the same people that told us that Joe Biden is mentally fit. Joe Biden actually works harder than his young staffers in the White House. He's the hardest worker, the most engaged, the latest nights. They're liars. We all know Joe Biden's hanging on the beach. No one's running the country. He has an internal cabal that's been running the country for 3.5 years, and Joe Biden just hangs out on the beach.
As we like this today, let's bring in Nebraska Senator Pete Ricketts. Senator, great to see you. Joe Biden is a decrepit duck, but that leaves the United States a sitting duck. And therein lies the danger, Senator.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we certainly all watched the debate. And, you know, you were talking about Joe Biden being on vacation. How can we tell, right? The observation that there's a group of people running this without any leadership from Joe Biden is spot on. That's been my experience for the last 2 years. There's really nobody in charge. They're all just doing whatever they want to do. And they've been covering up for him for the last 3.5 years, and was only exposed because of that debate.
No, you're absolutely right. And again, I think if Joe Biden actually had some control, some cognitive ability, we would have a lot less of the radicals in the White House taking free rein to inflict such pain on the American people. And again, I mean, Senator, what does this say about democracy? You elect someone to lead your country to implement policies, but he just checks out and the country runs on autopilot. That's very concerning.
Yeah, it's very concerning because, frankly, that's what we're going to get more of the same if Vice President Harris gets elected, right? She has not been in charge either the last, 3.5, almost 4 years. And she is actually way more radical left. Remember, she's a San Francisco liberal. So she actually believes in this stuff. Joe Biden just let it go. She's going to actually promote it and let these people have free reign. It's going to inflict even more pain on it. And frankly, it's just going to continue to project weakness from this country, which is going to make us less safe. I mean, the Biden-Harris administration was the administration of high prices and open borders, and we're going to get more of the same if Vice President Harris gets reelected or gets elected.
To quote RFK Jr., he said, it's a bunch of faceless men with lanyards running the country, and that is just unimaginable and frightening. To switch gears to this, Senator, it's good to see someone in the Biden-Harris administration still working, But whether or not anything will come from it is another story. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan in Beijing right now meeting with Chinese officials to find out, quote, the next steps to reduce the flow of illicit synthetic drugs, continue repatriation of undocumented migrants, and law enforcement cooperation. Why hasn't this been priority number one? Well, you'd have to close the border if you wanted to stop the fentanyl from flowing over. But Biden is apparently planning to hold a virtual summit with Xi Jinping in the coming weeks. Is that wise?
Well, whatever Jake Sullivan's doing over there, I hope it works, because fentanyl is the leading killer of our young people in this country, age 18 to 45. And as you point out, it is directly a result of the open border policies this administration has had. And again, we're going to get more of the same from Harris. So we ought to be very concerned about this. And frankly, if you look at all the Biden-Harris administration's policies, they've been weak. They've been appeasement first. Countries do not respect us. I don't know how they think they're going to make any progress on this. We've seen an 8,000% increase in the number of Chinese nationals coming across the border. I don't know why the PRC would want to slow that down. They're probably getting rid of a bunch of people that don't agree with their government. And we'd be naive also to think that there's not saboteurs and spies in that. So this is, again, part of the policies that make our country unsafe, and it's directly laid at the feet of Biden and Harris.
Illegal immigrants coming into the country from China, also fentanyl killing our people. But Jake Sullivan was also talking about climate change as well at this meeting, which shows how disturbing their priorities are. But let's move to this, Senator, because senators are demanding Biden and Harris pump the brakes because, as it turns out, their EV agenda isn't quite as green as they say it is. For every 1 pound of lithium mined, over 3,000 pounds of CO2 is emitted into the air. Plus, only 69 EV stations across 8 states have actually been built since 2021, way below the goals of 500,000 that were set by this administration when they spent $8 billion. So here's my concern. Again, all this CO2 is emitted. They say these cars are green. And the problem is, this is false advertising. This is fraud. They should level with the American people. These aren't green cars. Huge impact on the environment.
Yeah, absolutely. The Biden-Harris administration has been lying to the American people. When they say that these are zero-emission cars, it's simply not true. As you pointed out, just the complete life cycle of manufacturing them and getting these critical rare earth elements shows that it's carbon intensive. And here's the other thing, and I asked Michael Regan about this directly in one of our hearings. I said, hey, are you assuming that 100% of the energy going in to charge a car is renewable? He's like, well, I don't really know what the model is. So we asked him, that was 3 months ago. He still hasn't responded, but this is part of how they're lying to the American people. They're trying to sell EVs as zero emission, but the state with the highest percentage of renewable energy is Iowa at 60%. And if you look at states on the East Coast where a lot of these EVs are, like Delaware, Connecticut, Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, they're less than 5%. So when you're charging your EV, you're using fossil fuels to do it. The UK regulator knew this was true, and that's why they banned car manufacturers in the UK from saying they're zero emission unless they're making it clear. It's just when it's kind of rolling. And by the way, that's not even true there, really. So this is just part of the misleading propaganda campaign going on by this administration around this whole climate issue. And by the way, Harris just added to it by saying she's never been for a zero EV mandate when she actually co-led at, in 2019, the Zero Emission Vehicles Act that would have mandated 100% of all these vehicles being EV by 2040. It's just crazy.
And then she went on in 2019. Well, I'm going to shut up and let you listen to this and all of our viewers. Listen to this.
So will everyone have to drive electric cars?
Well, by my plan, by 2045, we will have basically zero emission vehicles only, 100%.
So, Senator, it was actually, she even got the date wrong on her own plan. It was 10 years earlier, 2035.
Earlier, 2035.
Yeah, but her campaign put out a missive. Fact. Vice President Harris does not support an electric vehicle mandate. She supported it twice, and actually it's a de facto mandate, what Biden and her have done to the American people with the tailpipe emissions regulations. And on top of it, they've poured $1 trillion plus into this, and we're losing all that money because nobody wants to drive the damn things.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're realizing now that this has been a huge disaster for them because people don't want EVs. And so she's lying. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. She is lying about this. As I mentioned, she co-led the 2019 legislation. She doubled down on it during her presidential campaign. And now she's trying to backtrack because she knows it's not popular. The American people don't want this. And again, this is just part of what this administration has done, whether it's Biden or Harris. They've been misleading the American people. Here we have the vice president absolutely lying to the American people. It is just despicable.
Lies, lies, and more damn lies. Senator Pete Ricketts, always great to see you. Thanks for being with us on The Bottom Line. We appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.